Robinson Crusoe discovers a footprint. This story is adapted from Daniel Defoe's Robinson Crusoe. Robinson Crusoe's ship had been destroyed by the sea. He had been alone for many years and longed for company. One day he discovered a footprint on the sand. Let us see what he did then. Robinson Crusoe discovers a footprint. One day, when I was going towards my boat, I was surprised to see the footprint of a man on the sand. I stood amazed. I listened. I looked around me. I could neither hear nor see anything. I went up higher to look down. I went up the shore and down the shore, but it was no good. I could find no other footprint but that one. I went to it again to see if there were any more footprints and to tell if it had been my imagination. But I was not mistaken, for there was exactly the print of a foot. Toes, heel, every part of a foot. I could not imagine how it came there. I stayed a long time thinking, but became more and more confused. At last I returned home very frightened, looking behind me after every 2 or 3 steps, mistaking every bush and tree to be a man. When I came to my cave, which I called my castle, I ran inside it, as if I was being chased. I do not remember whether I used the ladder or went in by the hole in the rock, which I called the door. I ran for cover, faster than any animal could run. I did not sleep that night. The more I thought about what I had seen, the more afraid I became. I thought it could be one of the savages of the mainland, who had wandered out to the sea in a small boat. Luckily, I was not on shore at that time. But what if he had seen my boat? If he had seen the boat, he would have realized that someone lived on the island and would soon return with the others to kill and eat me. And so I lay fearful for many days and prayed for protection. In doing so, I was much comforted and began going out to investigate. But even now, as I went forward, I looked behind me frequently, because I was still very frightened. However, as I went about for 2 or 3 days and saw nothing, I became a little bolder. I decided to go down to the shore again and examine the footprint once more. I decided to measure it with my own foot mark. As I came closer to the footprint, I realized that it could not be my footprint because I had not come to this part of the beach since a long time. Secondly, as I placed my foot alongside that footprint, it seemed larger than my own. My fear returned. I went home again, believing that there was someone there. The island was inhabited. New words. Savages, uncivilized people. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors were primitive savages living in caves. Mainland, main part of the country. From the island, there is a boat service to the mainland. Wandered, roamed. John wandered about in the park for half an hour. Bolder, more confident. Renu is bolder than her sister Megha. Have you heard the saying, worry often gives a small thing a big shadow? This is a famous Swedish proverb. It implies that worrying over small details can make them seem worse. If we keep giving much importance to small things, we start feeling stressed. When we stop making a big deal out of small things, life becomes much more pleasant and enjoyable. Discuss with your friends how you would feel if you happen to see an unknown footprint outside your front door. Summary. Robinson Crusoe had been living in a cave on a lonely island. One day, he noticed a man's footprint on the sand. The whole story is centered on this incident. It gives a clear picture of his fear, confusion, and various thoughts across his mind. Finally, he comes to the conclusion that it was not his own footprint, but some savages might have come from the mainland and inhabited the island. The story is narrated in the first person, and this makes the story appear to convey the real experience.